Beautiful people of the world, we are back at it again with another class of weapons. Opal grind done. In this video, fellas, as you can see, we got the Marksman Rifles. This is honestly kind of a class of weapons in which you're really not like gonna pay too much attention to. Not that any of the Marksman Rifles are bad, but I'm not the biggest fan of burst weapons in zombies. And if I have a semi-automatic weapon, it's got to be hidden like a truck, like the Drakon from Black Ops 3. And of course, around that 35, 36 range, yeah, dude, just like most weapons, that's when these guns also start to fall off. That being said, in order for us to get that beautiful Nebula camo, we got to get Afterlife on every single weapon. And before we can even do that, we got to get Opal on every single weapon. So we'll start off talking about the SWAT, okay? The SWAT is a 3-round burst DMR. If any of you guys are some OGs, y'all remember the SWAT from Black Ops 2 over 12 years ago. Where does the time go? Now, like I just said, I'm not the biggest fan of the SWAT, just not a big fan of burst weapons in general. It's kind of hoping that when I pack-a-punch this weapon, it would be fully automatic, almost like an M16 situation, as when you pack-a-punch that 3-round burst AR, it became fully automatic, called the Skull Crusher, and it had a noob tube on it. Nah, unfortunately, this thing, it's higher damage, a bigger mag. Not bad by any means. It's not, you know, these weapons are definitely better than the pistol grind, but there's nothing that like jumps off at you, like nothing crazy, like, oh shit, like the Sigma when you pack-a-punch that, with how quick you can just, and how fast you can melt the Terminus boss. Yeah, man, the SWAT ain't doing nothing like that. It's kind of just your standard run-of-the-mill weapon. It's okay. It is what it is. Obviously, for the Opal challenge itself, it is once again 30 special zombies, 30 manglers. As always, I do recommend something like a napalm burst to help just rip off some of the manglers' health, especially in those later rounds. As if you are doing all 30 in one game, you're going to be finishing at around round 36. And we all know that after round 30, dude, the mangler spam is beyond obnoxious. It only gets even more obnoxious with each passing round. So brace yourself for impact with that one, fellas. Now, the Tsarkov is a semi-auto DMR, and unironically, I feel like I like this one a little bit more than the SWAT, just because it's hitting a little bit harder than the SWAT is, which I can always respect. A high damage semi-automatic weapon, and this thing definitely allows you to really go ham with the trigger finger even without rapid fire, as I don't even have it unlocked on this weapon yet, as you can see by the attachments that I like to run. And honestly, it's still not the worst thing, pretty good. But you know, once again, Marksman Rifles, they're still just kind of meh, just a lot of meh, but I would say I like this weapon better than the SWAT itself. And then after that one, you have the AEK 973, a 3-round burst, and its actual burst does have a pretty fast rate of fire. With each of those 3 shots, they come out pretty fast with the pull of the trigger, and I would say this is better than the SWAT, but it's still nothing like absurd, like giga crack. As you can see by some of the attachments that I like to run, I don't have a rapid fire for any of these weapons, by the way. Like, I don't. Of course, some of these weapons can come with extended mag too, and let me tell you, dude, I'm always for a big fat drum mag on any weapon that allows me to put those on. And the AEK is just kind of a stronger version of the SWAT. And then the last one that you get is called the DM10. I like the funny thing about the DM10, when you pack-a-punch it, it changed to DM them. That's funny. The DM10 actually does have a small minor change when you do pack-a-punch it, as beforehand, when you don't pack-a-punch it at base, it's just a semi-auto DMR. But when you do pack-a-punch it, it becomes a 2-round burst. So something. Obviously, you're never gonna really get a semi-automatic weapon and be able to turn it into a fully automatic weapon out of pack-a-punch. But I will say the DM10, I can see why it's the last one you get, because it becomes a 2-round burst and still has respectable stopping power. I would probably say this is one of the better ones. It just depends what's your cup of tea. Do you want the semi-automatic ones? Do you want the 3-round burst one? Or do you want this one to be the 2-round burst one? So you pack-a-punch it. Pretty strong. Kind of respect it. But the main thing I want to talk about is just stuff to help with the manglers, especially not just for the Marksman Rifles, but for anyone really. Honestly, dude, the ether trap in the spawn room of Liberty Falls, huge. It just rips off a huge chunk of their health. That's less time that you have to spend pelting them and ripping off their armor. And if you have napalm burst on your weapon, it'll really get the job done quick and really make work of them. Also, if you are able to get the good old combo of temporal gift and an insta kill, that'll help destroy these manglers, especially in those round 30 plus rounds, nice and easily. As if you're going to do all of them, all the headshots in one game, that is definitely a good combo to have in your pocket in your gobblegum pack, and I would definitely recommend it. Also, good field upgrades to work with are obviously going to be Ether Shroud, or Healing Aura can be pretty useful as well, as dude, the mangler spam we know can be really obnoxious, as those homing AoE attacks that they can shoot at you from such a far distance can be hella annoying. Oh, you just juked out that horde? Nah, get back in that horde, juke them again, or just get outright screwed over. Mangler spam is very, very annoying in the later rounds. Do hope that they tone it down just a little bit, because bruh, they're annoying. I don't really have a favorite marksman rifle out of the bunch. It might be the DM10. I just kind of feel a little bit like just towards them. It's not like the shotguns where like the ASG is just like Giga Chad over everything, just or it's not like the pistols with the GS45 being the Pack-a-Punch, Mustang, and Sally's in this game, which are amazing. And you don't have the ease of use that you do with like an AR or an SMG, no big mag like an LMG, and no absurdity strongness, brute force strength that the sniper rifles all possess in this game, which is a little bit unfortunate. But maybe we get another marksman rifle later down the line and it's really, really good. Who knows? Never been the biggest fan of marksman rifles really in any Call of Duty. Have y'all seen the SMR from okay, let's stop talking about nostalgia. As always, the Opal camo does look very, very nice. It does always make me feel like my time was spent well grinding the camos for them, even if it is for a mediocre class of weapons. Let me know your thoughts on the marksman rifles down below in the comments. Do you think they're good? Do you think they're mid? Think they're outright trash? Either way, LMK. Do hope you guys have a great day. Do consider subscribing. We'll see you on the next one. Adios.